everything I want in my life. Thank you. Please ignore the swollen face. I recently got my wisdom tooth extracted. It's been 5 days. It was like much bigger a couple of days ago, but it's kind of back to normal now. But you can tell that it's swollen. Hi everyone, Samita here. Welcome back to my channel. Let the room. Bye. The window is open here, so I think you can hear outside noises more, but I'm just gonna go with it because closing that window is a tall person job and it's a pretty high window. So um, so yeah, we're going to talk about understanding human design manifestors part 2. I'm going to not go over the previous videos pointers. I'm going to link that video in the description so you can check those out. I'm going to start fresh with part 2 pointers. So I'm going to start with point number 1. If you're a human design manifestor, being yourself is a tricky game. And here's what I mean by that. Being yourself means you're going to trigger people or magnetize people. You're going to repel or trigger people, or you're going to magnetize people. And usually when you magnetize people, they pedestalize you, and then sometimes they have an opposite experience after pedestalizing you because they realize they can't really control you or enforce their will on you, or your sovereignty starts triggering them, and then they start to, instead of pedestalizing you, try to put you down, try to challenge your authority, try to challenge your autonomy. And then there's the repelling part that happens, right? The repelling part is them feeling unsettled by your natural energy. So what happens when you play small? People clock your magnanimity, right? They clock your magnetism, your energy, because manifestor's energy is pretty intense. It's pretty dense. It has like a repelling dense aura, right? Manifestors have a repelling dense aura, and people can sense this. People can sense how much of a giant energetic deal you are, right? And when you play small, or when you're like trying to be people pleasy, or like feeling a little more insecure, and that's coming and showing on the surface level, and that's what's being displayed on the surface on that particular day, people are more judgy of that, or they're like unsettled by that. They're like, wait, question mark, question mark, question mark, that's weird. Like, why would this person act like this when we can feel that he or she is more than how they're behaving? Like, they can sense the mismatch between you playing small and how big your energy is, because you have big energy, right? So that happens. And when you step into your power, the funny thing is, instead of being accepted and celebrated, usually we're either pedestalized, or we are, people think that we think too highly of ourselves, and they want to see us off our high horse, and they try to disempower us, or which is so true. They try to disempower, they try to test your autonomy, they try to test your self-concept, self-esteem, try to put you down, because it's like they can't figure out the source of you having this sovereignty, this independence, this energy. They can't figure it out. They can't figure out what's causing it, so they want to tamper with it, they want to put it down, right? It's very like nerve-wracking giving a manifestor more opportunity, more power, because people feel like, oh my god, they already have everything, they already are at such a high level, why would I empower them? I'd rather disempower them. So I mean, people don't consciously do this. It's sort of like a, but it's happened. I've seen places where I've deserved an opportunity, and the person tries to give it to me because I'm the obvious choice to give that opportunity to, but then they're like hesitant to give me the spotlight, or to like give me an opportunity. And I'm like, okay, I get it, but also at the same time, younger me was, you know, younger me felt cheated a lot. Younger me felt like, okay, why you do me like that, right? So that was a common experience where things that you deserve because of your skill set or because of your hard work, people will try not give it to you, especially people in positions of power, right? Like teachers or mentors, or anybody, you know, sports coach. It could be anybody. For me, it was more in the dance field. It was more in like the artistic field, even in school. Yeah, it's like, I will give you this opportunity if you downplay yourself and show me that you can, you know, like, want it bad enough at the cost of your magnanimity, which is like, show me that you're going to honor this opportunity. And for them, us honoring that opportunity means not being so big and playing smaller sometimes. So it's tricky, because it's like, it's like now as an adult I can tell that, you know what, I mean, I can tell the difference between me genuinely deserving something and me, I'm not saying that I deserve so much, I deserve everything. No, sometimes it's like, okay, you need to work harder to get somewhere, but sometimes it's like so obvious that people try to disempower, just they don't want to give you more power, because in their eyes manifestors have so much power. So there's no winning. Like you're seen as weird if you downplay yourself. When you step up into your energy, just be comfortable in energy, people want to tamper with that. So what are you going to do? You're just going to be yourself. You have to be yourself, and you have to have your back, because nobody else is going to have your back, right? Because this usually happens in most unconscious people. And by unconscious people, I mean people who don't see everybody as interdependent and belonging to one another, people who are very strong in their ego mindset with you versus me mentality, right? Who have not embarked on a spiritual journey that views every being, no matter how different or diverse, with love and belonging, right? So these are, non-awakened, or like these are spiritually unaware people, usually spiritually unaware, unevolved people, which is a lot of the planet, like a lot of spaces have such people. In fact, there's more such people than people who are evolved enough to like go beyond that discriminating tendency that humans have, right? So there's nothing you can do. Either way, your presence is gonna piss people off or make you feel uncomfortable in your own skin for being the way that you are. So might as well just be yourself freely, because at least you're free being yourself, right? So this is point number one. This is what you can notice, you can see. Like you will have to deal with a lot of people trying to like disempower you, put you down. And it's subtle, right? Because energy also is subtle. And sometimes growing up I used to let it get to me, but now I just like, I take it as flattery. I mean, not to be cocky or anything, but sometimes you just have to tell yourself the truth, and what you see. It's like you are so obviously a choice to be chosen for an opportunity, and so convincingly, like even they can't put a finger on why they don't want to empower you. They can't put a finger on it. It's just threatening to give you more light, to give you more, you know, like magnanimity, when you're already so much of a threat, not even to something tangible. They can't even feel and understand what about you is threatening. And it is your sovereignty, your independence, your autonomy, your self concept, or your magnetic energy that exists, that is very, very different from most people on the planet. So that is point number one. Point two, this is a little more heart wrenching. This is sad because of how manifestors grow up with this energy, right? When I look back, I see a lot of adults glitching, man. When I was supposed to be protected as a child, I see a lot of adults trying to do that, trying to like black mark a child for being the way that it is. And I don't know what it is. Um, is it really just autonomy, independence, or like there's something about the manifestor child that adults feel like, ooh, let's, like, I don't know, try to control. And if they can't control, it's rejection. And if they can't make sense of, or like, I don't know, like manifest children are so autonomous in the way they move, and energetically they're just so autonomous, and there's something about them that's so self-assured, right? Like they move with such, like it's embedded in the energy type from childhood, right? So they move with such certainty and magnetism that even manifested children attract people and adults differently than say a generator baby would. Manifested children are magnetic. The thing about magnetism is it's like, I don't know, man. It's like it pisses people off when they can't make sense of the source of it, even as a child. So a lot of adults will see a manifested child just being a child, being naughty, and then black mark the child as a bad behaved child. I've seen adults glitch out, and like I've seen people take pleasure in me putting myself down. I remember as a 21-year-old, I put myself down about something in front of an adult, like a grown ass man and woman in their 50s, and said that I don't deserve this because I didn't do this, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't deserve. And they were like, yeah, well, that instead of empowering me and taking me out of that putting myself down mindset, they took that as proof that I was unworthy or I was not good enough, and they tried to shove that opinion. They're like, you know what, you're probably right, and you have good intentions, but you're still, your behavior. And it's like, when I look back at that, I was like, yo, you took that opportunity to have some sort of control over my self esteem. I look back at that. I mean, I wish I could expose and tell you what exactly it was, but no adult should listen to a child say, "I don't deserve how nice. I don't deserve my dad because he's so nice, and I'm all this," and having like an identity crisis. Then adult being like, you know what? Yeah, you're probably right. Uh, do better because you suck. Essentially, in a nutshell, that's what I was told, and there was no proof for that aside from what I was telling, myself. And they called it, you're aware that you're not all that. So it's like, I've seen adults rejoice in me putting myself down because they can see that there's something about this child that's like extraordinary, and it ticks people off. And I can't even put a finger on it, like I've seen adults glitch out, and I've said that for the 100th time today, but it's ridiculous. And that's why I re emphasize on the fact that as manifestor individuals, please listen to your own inner voice. Please be the judge of yourself more than anybody else. Like, keep yourself in check with your moral code and your role on the planet, and obviously do take advice from people who have your best interests at heart, because there are people who are spiritually evolved enough to understand you, have compassion for you, to tap into the reality of you beyond all of these things that go on in the matrix, right? But there's so many unfortunate incidents that try to silence manifestors, disempower manifestors, that try to make them feel small, make them feel horrible about themselves. And and it's because people are triggered by manifestors, even adults. Like, it's ridiculous, because back then, when I look back, when people would try to discipline me, or my neighbors would come and tell my mom, your child, something's wrong with her, like, she doesn't know how to behave, blah blah blah, and try to, I've had people have me take the fall for their kids' bad behavior. When I was like 4 or 5 years old, come and tell my mom that this child is like, not listening to her, she's badly behaved. I've had my parents drop me off at someone's house, at a friend's house, when they had to travel, they were busy with something, and those friends, like family friends, the adults of the household, just were plain rude to a 6-year-old child, just like, this child is not ours. And they were just like not happy with me being around, and they were just like, what is it about? And then their own kids would do something, and I'd get blamed for it, and then they were more than happy to believe that I did it, and then put me in solitary, like put me in the child's room, lock me, and just like be like, you know what, you deserve to be punished because you did something wrong, when it would not even be me. And it's like, this behavior towards a child, now I look back and I'm like, oh, it was them reacting to the manifestor aura. Manifestors are not gonna comply and behave in accordance to your expectations. They're always gonna do their own thing, they're always eccentric. They need autonomy. Independence is like air, oxygen for them, right? They need to have their own rhythm and their own like thing outside the structure, and in the society. And I think people can't stand that, and immediately their response is to like belittle that, demean that, box that in, tell you that's not what's up. It is very important to clock that, not let that define your life. There are people who are going to come around and tell you who you are, and you can believe them and resonate with them and feel safe, right? There are going to be people who are going to criticize you, call you out, and that's going to be safe as well. It's not going to feel like an attempt to control you or belittle you or put you down or make you feel badly about yourself just so that they can feel superior or feel better about themselves or feel like they got back at you for subconsciously triggering them, right? So my heart goes out to manifestors everywhere, because this is hard. Like, we're living in a world that's just like not built for us, but also like we're initiating things left, right, and center, and we don't get enough credit for it. And I want to be the voice that stands up and says, you know what, we will stand up for ourselves. We are aware enough to know what's going on. We are clocking everything. And as much as I see disrespect, belittlement, disempowerment, I watch and I register, and I know who is, you know, I know who to take seriously and who to like ignore and not take seriously. I know who to give weight to and who not to give weight to. And I'm recording and observing, and I know like over time it'll all make sense, right? Having said that, I want to like really take a moment to appreciate people who are capable of such unconditional love. Yeah, they keep returning to love. They're just safe spaces. Despite who you are, despite how bright your light may shine, they're just so secure in themselves and so spiritually rooted and grounded to just share love with you. And I have quite a few of those people in my life, and I'm so grateful, right? Because I've experienced the brutal end of what it means to be a manifestor. And that's why I'm so passionate when I'm talking about this, because human design made so much sense to me. It helped me breathe easy. It helped me make sense of all the pain and rejection and outcasting and the weirdness I felt from all walks of life, all kinds of people. And it just made me realize that, oh my gosh, like I don't have to be defined by any of that. Like none of that defines me. In fact, I can flatter myself saying that that means your impact is just that loud. If it's disrupting these many people's inner psyches and inner children and awakening these many shadows and whatever. So, which is another thing. Manifestors repel back energy that's given to them that's not meant for them. And if you are a spiritually aligned manifestor, usually you will repel things that are lower vibrational, and that will usually be projected onto you by someone else's shadow. And when you repel that back, it makes them confront their own shadow, which is another thing. Manifestors initiate people into shadow work without people even knowing it, without manifestors even knowing it. So always see and clock that and realize that if people are behaving nastily towards you, it's because you've triggered something in them, and it's their job to do the work to figure that out for themselves. It's not on you, right? That's another thing. Here's point number 4. I think there were multiple points I made and I didn't number them, but point number 4: independence and autonomy and freedom to do what we want to do when we want to do it is like breathing air for manifestors. A lot of the times I have been in rooms that are less popular, less seen, less important, at the same time as something more bigger, more important is happening out there in the world, in my field of expertise or my career, because of an internal creative urge. But I'm like, if I'm not going to act on this, nobody else is. And if I don't act on this, it's going to decay inside me, and that's going to feel really suffocating. It's suffocating to not act on your creative urges. A lot of the times I sit out to be at events, to be seen at parties or dance events or whatever it is, just to do my own thing. And that might be ridiculous, because it's like you missed out on that networking opportunity, you missed out on this, that, blah, blah, blah. And I have sat out a lot of things. People have like told me like, are you crazy, or you can do this whenever, why are you choosing this over that when clearly this is so tiny? I'm like, yeah, but this is mine, and only I can act on it, because only I know what it is. And if I don't act on it, I'm not going to be happy, you know. So a lot of times we have to follow our creative urges, and if not today, 10 years from now, they're going to make sense, or maybe they're going to blow up, or maybe they're going to be something of value. But I would say it is like willingly going and catching the flu, or like willingly going and doing something that's not good for you, for a manifestor to ignore their creative urges and their independent projects and their autonomous things in order to be a part of something else. We love being a part of other things. We love being a part of things that we didn't initiate, but not at the cost of our own thing. It is not spiteful. It is not as being like, oh, we don't care about, you know, what's happening out in the world. We care. We love it. We want to be a part of it. But let us do our thing. Because if we don't do our thing, we're going to go crazy. And we don't want to go crazy, because going crazy for a manifestor does not look funny. The anger, man, the not self theme for manifestors being anger, the anger we feel when we don't get to, you know, exercise our sovereignty and autonomy, not pretty. Not pretty at all. So that's another thing, right? I feel like there's this misconception, there's this energy of who does she think she is that I get a lot. And I'm like, I don't really think much, dude. I'm just doing my thing, right? So I think that I would love the opportunity. I would love the opportunity to like clear that. You know what I mean? And tell people that hey, that we're not thinking that we're all that we're better than what's happening. We're better than things that 80% of people give weight value to. We're not trying to be above it or deliberately not take part in it. We're just busy doing our thing. And once we're done, we'll be back. So, another pointer, you will notice that manifestors are imitated unconsciously by a lot of people. They are imitated and they are copied a lot. Either their creative ideas are copied, either something they do is copied. They are copied and they're not given credit. Because the way a manifestor moves is very subconsciously inspiring because it brings with it the kind of energy that is birthed from a sense of independence and autonomy and freedom, right? So there's something alluring about what a manifestor creates. It's magnetic, right? They create it from a magnetic place. So a lot of the times you will see manifestors being copied. It's something that they do that gets copied. Like their creative ideas get stolen, credit of their hard work can be taken by somebody else. And this happens in the world a lot to a lot of people, not just manifestors. But manifestors do face being copied, being imitated, and then not being given credit for it. Because again, giving them credit is like giving them more power, and they have enough power according to everyone else, right, in their eyes, because there's something you can't put your finger on about the manifestor that makes them powerful. And it's like, why should I give you more power? I already have it. I want to be more powerful than you. No. There's a lot of competition or competitiveness that manifestors can attract because of this. Because people are like, I want what she has, but they don't know what it is. They can't put their finger on what's making you so magnetic and powerful. So they try to imitate and copy you. Try to compete with you. Try to outdo you in some way to feel more competent and powerful over you. That happens a lot. Even when you're not playing the competition game, people want to beat you, get ahead of you, compete with you. Even I've had people try to be competitive with me when I'm going through the lowest phases of my life, like struggling to keep my head above water, doing my own thing to the best of my ability while still struggling to breathe, and people are competing with me, trying to be better than me, and trying to be like, you know what, look at me, I did it better than you. Oh my god. And it's like, girl, I ain't even trying to do or be or anything above you. Like, I ain't even trying to compete with you like that. Why are you being that way towards me? We do attract a lot of competition. I think sometimes we can inform the masses like, hey, I'm not trying to compete. Like, we're not trying to compete. I don't believe in competition. I fundamentally don't believe in competing with other people. It's in my human value set. Like, I'm not going to view another woman, especially, as competition ever in my life. I think that just does me damage. It does other people damage. I think women should collaborate, not compete with one another, right? But yeah, I've had phases where I'm literally just trying to keep my head above water and work with the little stuff that I have to keep myself going. Like, in my eyes, for me, it's like the bare minimum that life is giving me to keep going. And people are trying to compete with me and like trying to one up me, trying to show me that they're better. I'm like, girl, why? I ain't even doing nothing to you. You know what I mean? So that's something you need to be aware of as a manifestor. It's after a point it gets, sorry to say, but it gets like hilarious. It's funny because it's like, oh my gosh, like what about me does this? Like, even I can't make sense of it sometimes. It's ridiculous because I'm like, what? I'm just here trying to exist and people are trying to do this. Like, what? I don't even. I think the hack is to take it all as flattery on some level, because like otherwise it can get very heartbreaking, you know. It's like sometimes I'm like people I wanted to be friends with, I wanted to be close to, trying to one up me, and I'm just like, I don't even know what to do with that. Like, I don't even know how to tell you, prove to you that I'm just a normal human being trying to do my thing, and I don't think I'm all that, and I'm not trying to compete, and I'm not trying. Yeah. Sometimes you can tell people your intentions, but they need to be evolved enough to even like believe that, you know, believe that you don't think that way. You're not trying to be all that. I get that it's hard, you know, because sometimes manifestors do have that aura that comes off that way, that they're like, they think they're the shit. And honestly, we should think that. We should think it, not from a place of like, I own, rule all, but from a place of like, oh my god, I'm so cool. And even when people are irritated and try to put us down, we should still think we're so cool. Like, I feel like I'm one of the coolest people I know. I love, like, my inner child, my younger self would love me, would be obsessed with me. Like, I love me. And it's just, I know what I've been through and everything that I've learned, and I'm so freaking proud. And I want to do more and more and more and more just so I can do right by me and give myself more, and by extension give the world more, right? I'm useless to anybody disempowered. I'm more useful, empowered. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and empower myself despite the disempowerment or disempowerers, right? So, yeah, just be you, and just like find a way to drown out the noise and the hate, because it's gonna come in one form or another, right? The more people are feeding their shadows, the more they're gonna be triggered by manifestors. You know what I'm saying? The more you are growing in a way where your shadows thriving from what you're doing more than your higher self is thriving, you are going to be triggered by a manifestor. So, yeah. Here's the fifth part of this video, I think. I empathize with the manifestor experience. A lot of time, I'm a manifestor, and I have a very Saturn coded chart, which means delay in gratification, delayed response to the hard work that we put in, but still we have to work really hard, dealing with a lot of setbacks, failure, rejection, but not letting it define you, but letting it refine your strength, your courage, your ability to face those things and still get up and still do something freaking amazing, right? That is very Saturn coded, to like be rooted in your dharma despite the fruits of it being there or not. Karmanyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. I'm very, very Saturn coded as a manifestor, which can be a very isolating experience, but it's also very like enriching, very, very wisdom inducing, right? It only makes me solidified in the belief that staying true to yourself is hard in a world that asks you to comply, in a world that asks you to falter in your moral code to be accepted, in a world that asks you to be somebody you're not in order to be put on a pedestal. I would say to all manifestors, be yourself. I assure you, sooner or later, it's going to pay off, and you're going to get exactly what you deserve and everything that you've been working for. Please do not betray yourselves for acceptance from any section of society. Don't betray yourself for any career-wise milestone. Like, just, it's okay if things are late. It's okay if things are delayed. Be yourself. Yeah, because the peace that comes with that is the peace with which creation blooms from within you, and that's exactly what you're put on the planet for. It's for what you can provide to the world around you, right? And that doesn't blossom without you feeling rooted in the person that you are. Never look for proof of what you are on the outside. Always go inside, inwards. Always have some spiritual journey to ground you. The divine doesn't discriminate. Humans discriminate. The divine does not. So fall back on a spiritual practice, on the universe, on any god or guru that you believe in, and let them be your source of strength, and let yourself, your higher self, be your source of strength, because that's the god within us, right? The higher self. I empathize with the experience of being a manifestor. It is not easy. I can personally go back to so many unfair situations in my life carried out by people who were supposed to protect me, by adults who knew better, by friends and peers who I thought had my best interests at heart, devalue, betray, disempower, hurt me, right? And today I can go back and I can see that, oh, okay, that was their shadow acting up in response to my energy, and I can have compassion for that, choose to let it go and not let it do me damage. I'm not going to be somebody who was bogged down by 100 different people putting me down. No, my response to that is standing back up and showing them that I'm still standing, showing myself that I'm still standing, so they could not really disempower me in the first place, right? You are strong, you are needed in this world, you are beautiful, and you are so capable, and you're so powerful, honestly. Being a manifestor is such a blessing, right? And it takes a really strong person, a really beautiful soul for God to be like, let me make you a manifestor and send you down to the planet, right? He wouldn't have given you, or she wouldn't have given you, or the universe wouldn't have given you that responsibility if you were not capable of carrying it on your shoulders. With that, I end the second part. I hope all the manifestors watching this, they can take something away from this, feel more empowered, and know that you're not alone. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the post notifications so we can stay connected. I will see you next time. Bye.